I'm Deep Mahaman and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Amazing. Anyway, yes, Coutinho, Wankfest aside, let's move on. We've got Liverpool's final game of the season to look forward to. And I do actually mean that genuinely, because I didn't mean that before Fulham. Yeah, last game of the season, we're playing QPR at Anfield. I have still with me, for joining us on YouTube, I have Chris, Aubrey and John with me. I think the big one, Chris, because again, we can talk about QPR, but what's the fucking point?
Big one's the HJC Cup this Saturday, mate.
That should be interesting too, that's first. But 2/3 of that, JC. Last game for Liverpool, it's monumental. I don't quite know how I feel about it.
It's going to be a big occasion, isn't it? It's going to be a bit emotional. It's going to be a good sing-song.
Yeah.
They're going to give him a fucking good farewell, because he's been a stalwart for the club, and we say it too often, a legend.
Yeah.
He's been Liverpool Football Club for the last 15 years. You know, when was it really? 99, 2000 was it? He really broke into the side, and he's been an ever-present. 2001, he was fantastic. 2005 was like the pinnacle of the iceberg, wasn't it?
Well, that was when he matured to another level, wasn't it? Because he made left back his own, didn't he? You know, I mean, Dad, we talked about this, how he was just an exceptional left back under Houllier.
He actually came in to left back when someone got injured. I think it was Ziegler, wasn't it? And from that moment on, we had a good defence.
Yes, Babel on the right, was he?
Yeah. Babel Henshaw here.
And then I think he had a falling out with Houllier, who was sent him back to the academy for a while, and then he came back as a centre back and was absolutely brilliant, and has been that way ever since.
And that's it. 2005. Nothing brings me joy quite like watching. It's the one where he goes out with cramp and he gets put off the pitch after the stretch for one. And then he comes straight back on and has to do exactly the same thing, pulls it again, like, oh my god, it's just absolutely fantastic.
But that's sort of 2005, even to 2007, he was the best centre-back in England for me. And people always said John Terry, and it just wasn't.
He was the best English centre-back.
Yeah. He's unfortunate, isn't he, Carragher?
Centre-back in Europe. Doesn't make any sense.
That's why he's got a far better. It's funny, outside of England, outside of Liverpool, in England, he's not got a great sort of reputation. But in Europe, he's incredibly highly regarded because of Liverpool's performance.
Because of two Champions League runs, one to the final where we won, one to the final where we didn't. Yeah. And he went to away games in Europe and basically shut teams out on his own. You know, he's unlucky. He'll go down as a Liverpool legend with, I'd say, 80-90% of Liverpool fans, and there are some Liverpool fans who will still never forgive him for scoring 2 own goals against Man U and for being a bit bad at the back. Well, my granddad, he's 80, 83, 84. He thinks Carragher's the worst footballer who's ever played for Liverpool, and he literally means it. And because
he's still surprised that they have like black players playing for Liverpool and stuff like that.
I won't say some of the words he calls them, and we're taking them to the home. No, honestly, and my uncle's 50, around about that age, and those two, literally, they can't stand him. They think he is the worst player we've ever had.
Sounds like familial brainwashing to me. We're not going to talk about anything else. 99%.
And then the other thing is, outside of Liverpool, there'd be, if you said Jamie Carragher, that statement you said, Rio Ferdinand in his prime, Terry in his prime, Carragher in his prime, I honestly would say Carragher was better than them. I thought he had, for a purple patch of his career, about an 18-month period, 2-season period, he read the ball, read the game, read defending better than anyone in England.
Read the ball. Miser.
and then he hoofed it upfield. No, but I don't think anyone outside of Liverpool would ever pick him. They'd pick Terry or Rio. But we know.
It was a Capella who brought him back in, begged him to come back into the
game.
That's true. And the problem is, it's funny because remember that when he went on TalkSport to defenders on it, because they were talking about him.
He said Ledley King.
Yeah, there were better defenders than him, and he was talking. People talking about Ledley King and Jonathan Woodgate, and you look at them now and you're thinking, who are you? What did they actually ever do? All they were just injury-prone crocks. It's all well and good saying like, oh, Ledley King's a Rolls Royce of a centre half, like, but sometimes you need a really good Sierra, like, you know what I mean? You know,
have an engine in a Rolls Royce for it to be any good.
That's it, like, and but that's it. Yeah, obviously, we could literally talk about Jamie Carragher forever and ever and ever, and at some point we will. But let's quickly move on. We've got a trivia question this week. Harry Redknapp has brought teams to Anfield on 15 occasions, winning once in the end of the season, 2-0 defeat against Spurs in 2010. But what's the biggest defeat that Apiari has suffered at the hands of the Redmen? Yeah? What is the biggest defeat Harry Redknapp has suffered at the hands of the Redmen? Answer at the end of this show. Dan, we've got nothing to play for but pride, but that's sort of true of both sides to a certain extent.
Well, the fact that it's Carragher's last game makes it something to play for. You know, I think he'll have the whole team ready for it.
Yeah.
There are still players there who are trying to prove themselves for next season. And there are players there who want to score goals. I know Henderson's saying he wants to score more and he's got one more chance.
Yeah.
You know, Sturridge, I can't believe Sturridge won't want another hat-trick if he can get one. And Coutinho just looks like he'll play for fun.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I don't see it as a game. I mean, there's nothing riding on the game in terms of points. So we'll finish in 7th, whether we like it or not. You know, the season's over in those terms. But in terms of what your players are doing and what we do next season and how attractive you might look to people coming in, which is another thing, you know, we score more goals, look like an attractive side to people who might be wavering. You know, Ericsson might just have his telly on and think.
Well, it's funny, isn't it, Chris, that we were discussing, we're going to come on to discuss in the next couple of weeks as we wrap up the season, look at Rodgers' first season as a whole. But going back to last year, we ended the season quite brightly. You know, we had the derby win and we beat Chelsea quite convincingly at Anfield. I think it's quite important that we do get a good solid win under our belts, because 7th is it's no great shakes finishing 7th in the Premier League, but if we can get a good win here, it just gives you that, you go into the summer thinking, okay, well imagine if we had this form at the start of next season.
Yeah, I think 2 wins at the end gives everyone a bit of a lift for the summer holidays, doesn't it? And you know, we've had a few draws a few weeks ago now, and just to sort of forget about them going into the summer is a good thing. And as your dad, I think, rightly says, you know, if we play some attractive attacking football like we've done over the last couple of weeks, I think people will be looking around going, I'd quite like to play with that Coutinho and Sturridge. Because I think Coutinho is a massive selling point for us at the moment, especially for like a striker if we are in the market. Even though the midfielders don't want to play with a player like that, I think he's an exciting footballer to play with more than anything, and so unselfish as well.
The other thing is, I had an email from the club today saying, you haven't renewed your season ticket yet. So I've never had one of them before, so I'm beginning to, they're getting a bit worried. So they'll be telling everyone to get out there and score a few goals. Encourage people to cough up the extra cap.
Well, it's true, isn't it? Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, people sort of overlooking this, that while we've had some good results, Newcastle being the obvious one, and you know, good win against Fulham last week. I think we're undefeated in 6 or 7 now. You know what I mean? We've actually put a decent enough run. It's all those draws. You know, they were all boring 0-0. Like, but that's actually a good run forward. And if we can just end on a win, as I say, that actually it does sort of put a positive thing. It's something that we never really put those kind of runs together. Well, it's been 2 or 3 years.
We 10-12 game runs, didn't we?
Yeah, it is. God, you know, ultimately doesn't really matter much. It matters for everything though. It's another win.
Yeah.
It's another. If we can put another 4 or 5 past a crap team, it's continuing that trend of, if we're building for the future, we're building on snotting the teams we should. Let's next season move into the next level of fixing what else is there, playing attractive football, getting some players some goals, looking at some players. I actually think there's a lot, you know, we want Rodgers to be a winner.
Yeah.
We want this Liverpool team to be a winner, so there should be no nothing games.
Yeah.
This is another, we're the highest away goal scorers, are we? You know,
it's our record.
Our record is it. You know, we've got a good goal.
It's the most we've ever scored in the Prem away, isn't it?
This year, so there's a record we can take from this season, which is a positive, which you can talk about going forward next year.
And we won the passing as well.
And we've won passing.
All he is, you've been going on about that now.
But do you know what I mean? So like, let's put another win in the win column, so that it looks a little bit more healthier than when you're talking, John. Like, because the media spin stuff and the people talk about, we get beat, that's another loss. We lost however many we lost this year. We win another one. We've won another one this year.
Yeah.
apparently Rogers said our target for goals was 70 for the season.
Well, he said in the fan I think we have actually. He said in the fan briefing, wasn't it, that for Champions League football you're looking at 70 goals, or something to me. Well, we've got 70 goals. Why aren't we in the Champions League place? Because we fucking conceded loads.
Yeah, because we conceded 72.
Conceded shitloads of goals. No, but that's. I think that's a big step, and I think if we can just get another good win, it looks positive, because again the attacking side of things was what we were lacking. And we've talked about this plenty, but we need to obviously sort the defensive side out. Let's have a quick look then at the Dangerman focus. Mr. Loic, Remy, January sign. He started 12 games, got 6 goals and 0 assists. He's totally created 14 chances. Shooting accuracy of 63%, chance conversion of 22, and a clear-cut chance conversion of 71.
Wow, that's bloody high,
which is bloody high, as Chris phrases it. Partridge-esque.
He shocked me when I've seen him since he went to QPR. I didn't realise he was so good.
Yeah.
Because he was rumoured to be coming to us about 5 different times over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And when I saw him, he was so fast.
Yeah.
And he had a real eye for goal.
Well, it's interesting, because I've seen people go both ways on this, Chris. You know, if he was available for a reasonable fee in the summer, I mean, I'd be quite interested in taking a look at him.
Well, mate, I think the contract's probably going to be the big thing with him. They'll have thrown a lot of money at him at QPR, won't they? And whether, you know, with our restructured wage structure, whether that will actually fit in or not, I doubt it very much. Also, he's had a bit of a taste of London. We don't seem to get many players from London.
He hasn't had a taste of the Championship yet, though.
No.
I think he's cannier than that. He turned down Newcastle for QPR.
He's fucking dumb.
Because he but he turned down Newcastle for QPR and put if we get relegated, very low price release clause in there.
Yeah.
He wanted to come to Liverpool or Spurs. He wanted to get at that level of or Everton, you know, that
get himself
level.
In the league.
We weren't taking the chances. We weren't taking the chances. He went to QPR knowing that he'd probably go down, but he scored 6 goals in the Premier League in 12 stats.
Well,
he's going to get his move.
I think he's decent. I've seen interestingly, the people I've seen saying, "Oh no, we don't want him." Boo-hoo. And a lot of the people who go, "We don't want Daniel Sturridge as well." Yeah. So you know, it'd be interesting.
I think he might be too similar.
I think we've got to talk about. We were talking about the idea of having rotation up front, and we definitely need another striker. And if you can get him for a reasonable fee, we know he can score goals in the Premier League. So I think he's definitely worth a quick look. We haven't got much time left, so let's quickly think. I mean, Chris, starting 11, would you expect us to go back to sort of 4-3-3? Andrew Wisdom to drop out, Coates maybe to continue at centre half?
Number one.
Carragher.
Continue.
Shall I continue? No. Well, my suspicion is we'll probably continue with more or less the same thing, except as I think we'll change the system. So I think Enrique will come in for Wisdom and play left back, Coates, Carragher, centre half, Johnson right back. Then it'll be the axis of terror of Lucas, Hendo, and Shelves, and then Coutinho, Sturridge.
I think he might start Barini this game.
You think?
Yeah, I do. I think instead of Shelby.
That's actually very interesting.
I hope he does.
Shout, but then.
Because he's got some minutes under his belt now. It's probably about time he started the game.
I thought he was very good actually against Fulham. Definitely lucky not to get the goal. Yeah. Okay, then score predictions, please. Dad, I'll start with you.
5-0.
Wow, yes. Go Aubrey.
4-1.
I'd say 5-0 because every time I miss a game, we seem to score 5. So, and I'll be missing it, unfortunately.
Cool, Chris.
4-0.
Okay, then we'll use them all. Gone really optimistic, so I can't bring myself to do it. So I'll say
8-0. Go on.
3-0. A nice 3-0 win to Ronaldo. Jamie Carragher penalty in the last minute.
I think it's going to have to be. We talked about it.
That would be funny.
That would be absolutely amazing. Okay, then we'll have the trivia answer in 2 seconds, but I just want to plug a few things. We're going to be giving you the chance to vote for your Liverpool Player of the Season, Young Player of the Season, and Signing of the Season. And there was another one I was going to do.
Yeah.
I think it most improved player as well. They're going to be going up on YouTube in the week, so do keep an eye out for them. We're also going to be wrapping up the season next week on the subscriber show. If you're not a subscriber already, do check it out. We're going to be carrying on through the summer. So if you're desperate for Liverpool content, there will be some there. Obviously, we're going to be looking at analysing Brendan Rodgers' first first full season in charge, seeing how he did, maybe talking a little bit about whether we think he's got what it takes to take Liverpool on. So do tune in for that on the redmentv.com. Okay, the trivia answer before we wrap up then. What's the biggest defeat Harry Redknapp has suffered at the hands of the Redmen? And the answer is 5-0 in the 97-98 season. He was managing, for a little bit of background, thank you Dave, managing West Ham at the time, featuring extra background info, an 18-year-old Frank Lampard.
Fat Frank Lampard.
Fat Frank Lampard Jr. Roy Evans was Liverpool manager. Interestingly, the team: Brad Friedel, Phil Babb, Stinger Bjorn, Jamie Carragher, hey! Steve Harkless, Bjorn Torkabama, Paul Ince, Oyvind Leonardson, Jason McAteer, Michael Owen, partnered by Karl-Heinz Riedler. Oh yes, remember the days. Remember the days.
Check out Paul's Ferguson parody as well. It's absolutely hilarious.
yeah, it had to be done. There was no way we were letting him get away with that old bacon phrase. So do check that out on youtube.com. As I say, do subscribe to the subscriber show if you haven't already. Free for the month, yada yada yada. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, subscribers to subscriber, and we'll see you if you're a subscriber on part 2. Ta-ra.